Hi, ladies. Welcome to Mompreneurs Unleashed, the podcast that celebrates moms who are taking on the world of entrepreneurship. Join us as we chat with inspiring mompreneurs who are sharing their tips, tricks, and secrets to success. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom with a killer business idea, or if you're a working mom looking to turn your side hustle into a full-time gig, we've got you covered. Get ready to unleash your inner mom boss and start profiting like a pro.
Welcome back to another episode of Mompreneurs Unleashed. It's your host, RaQuita Weathers here, and today I have a special guest with me. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, all you lovely ladies out there. My name is Jasmin Forts, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So Ms. Jasmin Forts is another phenomenal mompreneur. And first off, I want you to just tell people, what do you do? I know many.
Yes, I do.
But let's start who is Jazz?
Okay, that's a loaded question, but what I'd like to say is that I am a woman of value, of distinct character, and definitely a big pillar of mine is family and spirituality. So that's who Jasmin is. But what Jasmin does is stay well rested in everything that she builds and looks to bring to life, for sure. Yeah.
So Miss Jasmin is also signed Miss Well-Rested. The Well-Rested Professional. Let's get it correct. Okay. So I've met Jasmin many years ago. Most of my time in Atlanta, I've actually known you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny, we met at a women empowerment event, and she became a client, and now here we are years later, and she's a podcast.
Yes.
So what I want to talk about, first thing, I know we've had a journey. We've had a journey of the things that Jasmin does. And I know the person Jasmin is, she has grown so much since I met you years ago.
Yes.
And it really just taking people on a little bit of journey of how did we get here today. And let's just do the last 5 years. Okay. And a lot has happened in the last 5 years.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean,
summarize it.
I can give you the abridged version. No problem at all. A lot of the journey happened in COVID, right? So that's going to be easy to summarize. But from the beginning, right, I started a consultancy that was focused on professional Black women in corporate spaces. And it was near and dear to my heart because that's who I was, right? I have always thought of being who you needed to be in the world, right? If you have an expertise or a talent to share, to definitely give that. And because I've been able to grow my corporate career in a certain way, check my LinkedIn, receipts, I wanted to be able to help other Black women do the same thing. And there was a lot of toiling and fighting against the machine. And I was like, you know what is this all for? I don't know why I'm doing all this, right? So then out of the career consultancy came a Sister Siesta. A Sister Siesta was a space that I created for Black women, professional or just really working Black women, because I believe that it's not just professional. I hate the word professional too. I just say working we'll say working. But when you say working Black woman, it's like saying the word labor 3 times. Working means labor, Black means labor, woman means labor. Add mom to that means labor. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, in all these spaces that I'm in, career, we're talking about that, but we could never get to the career coaching because we were talking about how tired we were and how many hats we wore. And I was like, yo, we need a space for this. So Sister Siesta was monthly. We had therapists come in, and I was very clear that this wasn't therapy. Right. It was a gateway to explain the resources. And I don't know, this is the 6th year of Sister Siesta. I'm having my final one, and it's launched me into another journey of being a yogi, an herbalist, and an all around just wellness woman. So I'm excited about it.
So I have loved watching this transition, this growth that Jasmin has had over these years that we've known each other.
Thank you.
And I can tell you from the moment I first met you, I think we did a headshot session. Now this for your professional, probably was your LinkedIn.
Yes.
Remember it came to that corporate?
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, wait. And then sis is like, I don't know what I want to say. I caught the professional side of you, and then I saw homegirl side, and I was like, yeah, man, okay, you really know how to turn it on and off, and the many hats that you wear.
Yeah.
And so also, we haven't even really been touched on the newest change in your life, which is about to be 2 in August.
Oh my God.
Right?
Right.
So as a new mom at 40, right?
Yes. 41.
41.
Yes.
Right? You know, it's probably and young, and they tell us like 35.
Yes.
Like, and now I'm almost 35. You know, like, so I'm supposed to be like not having kids.
Exactly. Right. Or popping. I'm popping.
Thank you. I think with Black women, they're just popping naturally, so we don't,
Yeah, exactly.
it comes with the territory. True, and I will say, I've found more and more women today in their 40s having kids.
Yes.
Seriously, like, it's not as taboo anymore.
That's right.
Because it used to become like, oh my gosh, you're 35.
Exactly. And we can do it, right? Like there's a lot of things that we can do, and your body can do it, especially if you're well. And I take very good care of myself.
Okay.
So when we found out I was pregnant, I mean, it was no surprise because we were working from home, humping down. Okay. And so it was like, of course, baby number 3 is coming. Okay. Were we anticipating it? No. But added to the list of things to do. And I'm just like, more life. Yeah.
But with that, okay, so this kind of goes into some of the questions I have. With having a kid and I would say, I'm not going to say it's the height of your professional career, but you had reached a status in the professional world as a director. A director who says, hey, now I'm going to take maternity leave. I'm going to use all my time, right?
Oh my God.
But how do you feel that impacted your career growth, right, in the corporate space? And did it also kind of lean you more into, it's time for me to do my own thing?
All of that, girl. Yes. So first of all, I took leave once before under FMLA for mental health because of all the busyness, right? Being a mom, having a business, all the things. When I took my maternity leave while being a director, and I would just like to say too, while being under a shutdown,
Right.
Pandemic, it for me just made me realign what was important. And being home with my kids and my husband, my backyard and all the things, I was like, this is what's real, right? And the titles and the things, I, of course, worked for those. And I was proud of the things I did. But I was like, honestly, what my kids are going to remember, what my husband is going to remember, and even me when I'm old and gray, God willing, is the memories that I made with them, And coming back to work after maternity leave, I was like, I can't do this. Like 6 weeks into being there, I put in a resignation, and I needed time. Postpartum had really kicked up for me on this 3rd pregnancy. I had never experienced it. And the postpartum depression that I had was almost debilitating, and my mother-in-law, I'll never forget, RaQuita. Ricardo was coming home, and I think he saw me through the baby cam, and I just was looking at my baby. He was crying, and I could not pick him up. And I think he called his mother. His mother beat him to our home, and they both are they're at the top of the steps waiting for me because I could not pick up my baby. And they both just swooped in. I've never seen my husband cry for real, but at that moment, he was like, babe, whatever you need, I need you well, and I need you here.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
It's so real because we're expected to be able to just go back into the swing of things, right?
Yes.
Some jobs give you, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
And I don't know how women at all are able to function and say, I just pushed out this baby, no matter how it came out.
Yeah.
And expected to go back into a normal work schedule.
Yeah.
While you're probably still pumping, you're probably doing all the things. Your body is still realigning itself after just creating a human being, okay? But yet society says that, oh, you can just go back to work now.
Yeah.
And yet, when it comes to work, what functions you have at work, you are a changed person. I don't care how many times you had a baby.
That's right.
Each time is a different experience.
That's right.
And you're telling me that right now. Yeah. I'll tell you this too, is when I had my daughter, that was my second pregnancy, going back into work. For one, I had a baby during the height of when the pandemic started in June.
Yeah.
World shut down in March. I had her in June. So I was happy to have her once at home.
Yeah.
You know, like not having to be in the office pregnant, but at the same time, going back in after we're still in this work from home status, there's no separation between work and life. They were all in one place.
That's right.
And when you have your job, and you're literally probably in the same room, if you don't have like a separate office.
Yeah.
I have a master suite, so there's my bedroom, but my office was here.
That's right.
I was never really leaving the room. And then I realized, RaQuita, this is driving you crazy.
Yes.
These people are pinging you, asking for things, and like, I got a baby in another room. I got to go feed her.
Yeah.
It becomes too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yet no one, I'm not going to say no one. Sometimes our spouses are able to identify when these things are happening.
Yes.
However, it's hard to understand unless you're really in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you have such an amazing support system.
I'm grateful for them.
Girl, I think you need all the Ricardo.
Oh, I know. All the Ricardos. And honestly, my in-law, you know, like I said, my mother-in-law, like having seasoned mothers.
Yeah.
Right? Like the OG.
I got an OG in the house.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Having the OGs, you know, and then also my girlfriends and, you know, other women that are in different, you know, journeys in motherhood, because I can learn something from a mother that has a 1-year-old that is her first baby. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for my support system because you need it. The village tapped in when I tapped out, and I almost really tapped out, and I was grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Build your village.
Yes.
No, if there's nothing else to do,
Nothing else.
nurture the relationships with friends, whether it's family. Sometimes usually not family. It's usually it might be the friend girls. Those be the ones that hold you down in times like this. So you recently got your diploma in horticulture, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how are you planning to use that in your newest business endeavors?
Absolutely. So horticulture really just marries the knowledge of plant life and on a cellular level, because as an herbalist, which is really where I'm grounding my business, is understanding, honestly, what God has put here to heal us and help us to be well. And it wasn't just enough to understand how herbs work and, you know, make teas and tinctures and elixirs and all the things. I really, like you, RaQuita, research down. Like, if I'm going to be the best, like you, I'm going to show up a certain way. Like, I never want to shortcut myself with people I'm servicing. So I was taking that time to just really understand, you know, not just the plant itself, but how it's planted, where it should be planted, what it does to the body, if I could plant it myself. So when you speak to me about it, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Period.
If you're gonna have a business, I mean, let's drop a gem right here.
Yes.
If you're gonna have a business, you better know what the hell you're doing.
I mean, really, you know? Yeah.
There's a lot of, and that kind of just goes back into another kind of having this conversation before we started recording today, but it comes back to knowing your industry, knowing the space that you're in. Because again, a lot of people, we're talented. A lot of us we're multi-talented.
Yes.
We do many things.
You too.
And sometimes we just jump right into, well, how can I monetize this?
Yes.
Which is cool. However, you will be tested.
That's right.
You will be tested. And someone will ask you that one thing you don't know. And that's the one thing it'll either show up as you know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Or you're BS.
Yeah.
Straight up. And people know the difference. Always.
So
I just love to see that you taking this seriously. You've gotten educated behind this. I can't wait to try something else up in the way.
Like, yes, you know, I wanted to bring you some of the things, but I just had an event And those ladies took them all.
They always going to take it all.
Always, always. And see, that's the thing, kind of lining up with what you're saying, right? Like taking the time to understand your craft and understand how things work. With herbs and with plants, it's patience, right? Like you don't get the flower as soon as you plant it. And it's the same thing with tinctures and allowing herbs to do its thing. You don't get it immediately. So when you make a batch of whatever, it's sitting for 6 weeks. And so I'm very intentional. Like I knew about this event and I knew what those women needed and what they wanted to walk away with. So I was like, okay, I've made this batch, you know, and sometimes we underestimate our talents. I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna, child, everything was gone. So I was like, oh, okay.
First off, anything that Jasmin is going to put her mind to, for one, that always does wonders. I think you're just an amazing person so that people buy into people. I mean, it's just the fact.
That's true.
You buy into who you like, who you trust, who you know. And you're just a very trusty person. I mean, anything, girl, if you could have put some tea out here that I didn't drink it. If it was bad tea, I'm like, hey, girl, how can I make this look? But it doesn't.
Yeah.
I was just authority because it's your
No, and I appreciate that because it's, again, village, right? Women like you. We've had so many great conversations where it's like, if there is a correction, you'll give it to me, but I know it's in love and it's never ugly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, good, because I love to be corrected. And some of the ladies in my network, like yourself, they know that about me. They know they could tell me anything because I'm not going to take it to heart. I know you want me to be better. I know you want me to elevate. So it's like, I love.
That comes down to also, and this is for anybody. If you want someone to support and to promote your business, if there's anything that's wrong, like you should be at a place with them to where you can say, hey, sis, I love what you're doing. However, you know, it would be really great if we just tweak this little thing right here, because I know some people that would love to buy this.
Yes.
And for one, as a part of this village, you should be supporting your sister and sharing their businesses. So I love that. I love that.
Yes. And you know what? I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's one thing that I read a while ago that Issa Rae said. It's like we're always so consumed with climbing up instead of reaching out. Yes. Where we have so many talented people in our reach where we are, instead of thinking about like air quote who's popular and how I get there. It's like they started somewhere and they brought everybody with them. Like we should be thinking that way. And that's how I think. That's definitely how I think. Yeah.
I love that analogy because it's not an analogy, but I love that quote from her. It's so true. Even if you're in a professional space and you're maybe not even thinking about entrepreneurship and you're thinking about growing in your company, right? At this point, it goes back to her HR days.
Yes.
But if you're in the midst of preparing to grow, sometimes growing isn't always up, like you said.
Right.
You can learn a whole nother skill set at the same title level that really pushes you further than that next management level, you know? So
Absolutely.
That's just a nugget for some of my ladies that are still in their professional.
Well, I took a step back though. Like I'm in a 9-to-5, which is so funny because someone asked me I was offered a role as a VP and I was like, no, thank you. And they were like, what? And then they saw on my LinkedIn that I took a manager level, right? And they were like, okay, explain this.
Yeah.
But it's because you can still learn no matter where you are. And I'm not married to a title. And honestly, I thought taking a step back would help my family, you know? And that's really where I am. Now, will I be there for a long time? No. Okay. But
watching it.
You're right. They're not watching this. And by the time they will watch it, I'll be gone. So it's okay, you know. But honestly, it's like I just have to get my sea legs. I trust what I'm doing. But for so long, you have identity of what you thought life would be. And so that was part of my work and my growth. So I'm there. I'm ready to release it, but I believe in releasing things in decency and order. So it's coming.
Yeah. You have to have this, and I talked about this before on a live I've done. You have to have the self-awareness to know when it's time for you to go. And it's one thing, whether it's to go full-time in your business, to go to the next job, or to just leave the job for a while, just to focus on you.
That's right.
Because if you're so busy serving everyone else around you, the workplace, the house, everyone else gets served but you.
That's right.
And that leads to, honestly, it leads into anxiety and depression and all the other things that we don't like to typically talk about. And I love that you've always had a platform to discuss mental health and how that impacts, you know. So if you're thinking, maybe I need a little break, take the FMLA leave if you're in a corporate space. If you're your own boss, find a way. Maybe you need to create some digital products to where you can make some recurring revenue and not be so present. Like, find a way to get the time for yourself. That's just my little nugget. I had to drop that in the midst.
It's so important.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you another few questions here.
Okay.
How has having a toddler impacted your career and your family dynamic?
Oh my!
This is for everybody.
I know, everybody in the house, huh? He's the boss, quite honestly. The youngest is the boss. But it has made Ricardo and I more intentional on our schedules, right? Like, we were talking about it. We were just looking at pictures of the older two, and we could vaguely remember these memories because we were so consumed with busyness and our careers and different things. And with Enzo, the youngest, like, it is so much bliss and so much pause, and like, we're able to remember these things. And that has been the biggest change. And honestly, my daughter has said to me, Mommy, you just seem so happy. And I went in my room and cried, you know, because I was like, so they have memories of me not being happy, or, you know, Mommy being preoccupied with other things. And I beat myself up about it for a long time, but kids love you. So, you know, they're resilient that way, but even still, I want to show up a certain way, you know, and I am grateful that I've made that change. So, yeah.
They definitely remember.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I think I may have mentioned this to you before, when I knew it was kind of my time to leave corporate. My son came in the room and he was like, Mommy, look at this, look at this. And I was so busy trying to type this email for the man. and I looked back and I finally checked when he was trying to show me. He was like, Mom, you missed it. You were working. And I was like, this is not like, this is not how I want my life.
That's right.
And I don't want them to remember this, you know.
Right.
So it's great. I'm so happy that all the things
I'm going. Thank you.
So what I want to do to wrap up our segment today, I want to do this rapid fire round of questions. So these are some like, hey, get to know Jazz on another level.
Okay.
We're not talking about the business. We're not talking about the family. This is about Jazz.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, one, what is your favorite travel destination and why?
Savannah, Georgia. Scratch that. New Orleans, Louisiana. Yes, my favorite. I love the influence, the culture, but also I've recently tied my family tree to a plantation there, and I've been doing a lot of research in that area. Met a lot of family in Louisiana. My daughter's father is from there, so I've been down there probably every other weekend the first 3 years of her life. So
Okay, so now I'm going to call you cousin.
there we go.
You already sis, but now you're cousin. Now you got the family in Louisiana.
That's right.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to unwind and relax after a busy day?
Sit in my backyard with tea and either listen to like Cleo Soul or just be quiet back in my backyard. That's my favorite way.
Being quiet. I need to find a space to be quiet. Like,
Just be quiet.
I hear that sounds nice.
Look, it took me some time to get there, so but that's my favorite.
Your time is coming. It's
Yeah,
coming.
it is.
What's an interesting fact about you that most people don't know?
Oh my gosh. Probably that I'm a really great cook. I can cook anything from scratch. Mess with me.
So what she's saying is, I need to come over and have a plate for dinner.
That's
okay. Just send the invites. I'm coming. Last question. What is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
Everything is going to work out. Take a deep breath. You got this.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Motivate yourself. Okay.
That's it.
So as we're wrapping up, how can the people follow you? How can they connect with you? And also tell them you have your new business venture. Tell them what it is.
Okay. Because I'm launching later this year, you know, the patience, right? The bloom. That's I'm going with that. But it's called Juanita's Balm Liquor. It is based off of my maternal family tree and the redemption song of alcohol and alcoholism in my family. So as a herbalist, I know how to infuse herbs to make tinctures, elixirs, oxymels, different things of that sort that can assist rest. And also paying homage to my great-great-great-grandmother, Juanita, who was an alcoholic and used alcohol for self-medication. So that's where you can find me in my business, Juanita's Balm, and on everything, signed Well Rested Jazz. Yes.
Y'all ready to get well rested, okay? And I can't wait to try Juanita's Balm liquor.
Yeah, liquor. Likka.
Well, thank you guys for another great episode of Mompreneurs Unleashed. Until next time.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Mompreneurs Unleashed. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Tune in next week for our following episode.